All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Sean Vaughn, and welcome to Champions Material. Glad to be here. As always, my thanks to everyone who tuned into last week's episode, Hip Hop, Volume 1, the 90s. Appreciate the love, the feedback, everything. Continue to like, subscribe, and share. And let's see where this thing can go. Throughout all Champions Material podcasts, we'll be introducing the topics we'll be diving into up front. So as they're being discussed throughout the pod, it gives you, the listener, the opportunity to think, form your ideas, your perspective, and if there's questions, thoughts, feedback you want to submit, bring it. We want them. Shoot those over to us at champions.materialsv@gmail.com. It can only help grow this podcast and make it better. This week, we're doing something a little different. We had to. Before I bring on our guest, I got to say something. I've known these brothers for some years now, and I've been proud to have been associated with their movement from the very beginning. Arguably, the biggest inspiration for me turning Champions Material from an idea into a reality has come from watching these brothers bring their vision to life. It's truly inspiring. Join me in welcoming to Champions Material, the men behind We Are Legend. What's up, fellas?
What's good, man? Appreciate you having us, bro. Appreciate you having us.
Absolutely, man. We want to go ahead and introduce these men as we should do so. Every last one of them, they've all been a major part of the creative process and the inspiration for what became We Are Legend. So before we get into it, I'm going to start to my right. Jeremy, kick this off, man.
As I've said before, I am Jeremy Allen Barkley. One of the founding members, Chapel Hill representative, West Indian, and I guess that's all y'all really need to know.
All right, for right now at least. All right.
Oh yeah, what's good? It's Trevo or Travaris Noel, prominent member. Good, man. In the building, man.
Yes, sir.
I'm Travis. Everybody call me Trav. Chapel Hill representing military brat. Peace and love.
I'm Alfonso Tucker L. Chapel Hill representative. Peace and love.
This is Johnny John Brown. I'm from the Tri-State, but definitely I've become a Chapel Hill representative. And we here, man. It's a blessing to be here.
Absolutely. All right. So let's go ahead and highlight these topics we're going to get into. And then it's time to get started. The definition. For the audience out there, we'll define We Are Legend. Let's find out what it's all about. The origin story. Once we find out what We Are Legend is all about, we want to get behind the curtain, see what inspired the idea that became We Are Legend. Point A, point B. With everything that the brothers are doing now, was there a moment for any of them that felt like a turning point where they knew, okay, we got something here. Like, this shit is going to fucking work. Greater than the circumstances. Now I know for damn sure, forget the script. I know for damn sure that you guys have had some challenges, some adversity along the way.
Oh yeah.
But it's pretty fucking obvious it ain't stopping nothing. In fact, it made you all stronger. We're going to get into that because there's a lot of individuals out there right now who are thinking that they want to be greater than their circumstances. But they may not know this. They may not have enough money for that. They may be doubting themselves. So hearing your story just might turn them from somebody that are thinking about doing something to somebody who's going to get out here and do shit. New horizons. Your apparel and your message clearly has had an effect and a prominent impact on anyone who has come across any one of you when they understand not only that the apparel is dope, but the message is even better because it's greater than them, than any of us. With that said, we'll talk about where we are now and where we're headed.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and get started, man. The definition. I'll take it, any one of you. I'll kick it to any one of you. When you define We Are Legend, what is it all about and what does it mean to you?
I'll take it.
All right,
Oh, y'all giving it to me?
You up, brother. You up.
I mean, not to get into too much of what we were already going to discuss in other avenues of, the podcast itself. We Are Legend is the idea that, first of all, as my brother Travis says, it's a double entendre.
Shit,
we got big
already.
words too. So
already,
so to break down, to really understand what We Are Legend is to understand the actual phrase itself. We speaks to greater than yourself, like not necessarily considering yourself or not being ego bound.
Right.
Because in my personal studies, being ego bound always leads to the downfalls of even the greatest empires. So when we say we speak to something greater than ourselves, just in that simple word.
Yes.
We and R is one of the tenses of being or be, right? So we all know what that is. And so be in an English language means that you exist here, that you are here. That is the now is important. So being means that you are a living a creature that exists in this moment. And then of course legend itself, has its own there are a couple of different meanings to that. One of the ones that we speak to and what we spoke to from the beginning, which is why that we don't have the S on the end of it, is speaking of the legend of a time frame. When you're talking about getting rid of the ego, as we've said, and then also speaking to the legend itself as a map character. I believe that's the correct term.
All right.
So when you're talking about a map character, it speaks to the legend as a way. You have your map. It shows you everything. There's every path that you could ever take. But without that legend, you don't know how to properly read that map.
Yes.
So in order for you to read that map, you have to have the legend. You have to have those things that show you, negatives and positives and valleys and peaks. And without that legend and the ability to read that map, you ain't going nowhere. So We Are Legend is that in its simplest form. It was the creative idea to give people something to strive for, to say that, like, yes, there is nothing, there is no moment, there's no place that you came from, there's no entity that you're trying to push through that can stop you from progressing and becoming exactly what you want to be. Because until you decide that you are not a legend, you are a legend. There's nothing that can, there's nothing to define you. There's always those moments where you can create your own path and be exactly what you want to be. And the breakdown, the simple breakdown of it, the acronym itself, WALL, is perfect within that design because as I can't remember who wrote it, who actually put it down on paper. But it was very elegantly spoke by Miss Kales, aka, I can't say the AKA, but Kelly Brown spoke it best when she said that we are all trying to break through life's walls. And that's exactly, the message that we're giving people, that you, like, the double entendre and the things that we speak of is you trying to get through or get past something that seems impossible to do, when in actuality it's just a thought process. It's just coming to that moment where you're saying, I don't care what's going on, we're gonna break through. And as Kelly said, we're all trying to get over life's wall.
Absolutely.
And so that's my personal take, and I could go on for hours, but I'm sure other people
know
want
he
to
could.
speak.
Mm-hmm.
But nah, I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, bro gave you the detailed and he gave you the detailed version of it. But at its simplest level, We Are Legend is a clothing brand that was made to motivate and inspire, and that's inspire everybody. Us as people overall, but men, women, children, like, everybody has something that they aspire to be. There may be different things that get in your way at those times that you actually get into that goal. But that's what we all about, is pushing past those obstacles, pushing past those circumstances, pushing past like whatever you've experienced in life, and understanding that helps mold you into the legend that you want to be. So at the end of the day, it's a clothing brand that is all about motivating and inspiring people to find their best self, find your passion, and go after it with reckless abandon, man.
I almost forgot we was a clothing brand.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, like, we can't even say
I'm
it's just
concerned, y'all damn movement.
right.
Okay.
I mean,
I'm the host.
I forgot we do clothes.
I hate now even putting us in that box, because it's more than a clothing brand. It's a movement. It's a mindset. So, like, all of those things within one. It just so happens that the clothing is the avenue at which you get to display it not only to the world, but wear it each day to remind yourself of that message that you can be greater than your circumstances.
Absolutely, man.
Shameless plug.
Absolutely. You, the host of Champions Material, is a living testament to what these brothers are talking about. You don't just wear it because it looks dope. You wear it because you understand the message, and the message inspires you to be your best self. When I wear a wall, I do it for a very particular reason, and I'm always better because of it. All right, we're going to go into the origin story. I mean, now that we have an idea what the brand stands for, let's go back. Let's take it back. Let's take them back in time. What inspired the idea to become We Are Legend? And this is a personal question. At what point was there a moment where you all said, okay, this is an idea. It's time to turn this idea into reality now? What inspired it, and what was the turning point that turned the idea into reality?
Well, I would say, I mean, like anything in life, you have your societal norms, you have your various things where it's like, hey, next year we'll all be 40. And within our lifetime, we wanted to feel like we don't want to have any regrets. We don't want to have.
Y'all are all before.
Red cup material. Red cup material right there, man. Yeah.
But we didn't want to have regrets, and we all have, we had and we have this desire to achieve greatness, just to, not only for ourselves, but to be able to give that back to our families, to our community, so many things. So it was like, hey, let's do this, man. It's like right around the time that we were starting that, I was living in New York City at the time, and I had desires to like start up a clothing line for like bicycle apparel.
Right.
And the guys, they were in, down here, and they had desires. They had already in college, developed different shirts with the group that they were a part of. So it was almost like, it was meant to happen.
Mm-hmm. Shouts out to GP.
GP. Yeah. But so it's kind of like magic. But before we even put anything in place, man, they say, a wise man seeks counsel. And so with that, we started reaching out to people. Like, we have a high school friend that manages Q Parker. She works with a lot of various people in the industry. She, in fact, has her own clothing line. Our clothing.
Couple boutiques.
Yes.
Okay.
And so we reached out to her just to get some advice, some business strategies about moving forward. We also picked the brains of other people that had started businesses.
Shout out to Najib Asani.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah, Jeff Rotberg and Unnecessary Clothing.
How you gonna say all that? Not mention Dora, man. Dora, Den, Whitley. You know.
Okay.
Shout out to you, man.
Shout out to the biggest boss.
Big help.
Yes.
Big inspiration, yo.
Yes.
Keep doing your thing, bro.
Definitely. And so, I mean, we got advice from a lot of various people that had already laid kind of like they had went on their path. They had kind of laid the groundwork for what they were doing and was similar to what we wanted to do. And so we got advice before we actually set everything in stone.
There you go.
And then it was like, hey, man, let's do this. We started having meetings. All right, let's go get a register of deeds. Let's go get our LLC. It was like, you know, once we got the ball rolling, then we started to see, all right, we can run with this now. We can start making different movements, man. And that's how we arrived to where we are now, man.
Yeah, but not to cut you off at all, but backstory wise, this is a group of individuals that have been together for like 30 years,
decades,
decades and decades, and all right, 20, 30 round up ish. We've had 25, it's 30. But so it was like we've always had goals of there were always the moments where it was like, damn, yo, we dreaming and we kind of dreaming together. It was moments where we was like, damn, like, man, I hate you, but like, damn, yo, we still kind of on the same path. We dreaming together, we coming back, we apologize, and we learning to grow as men, which is a very difficult thing to do, especially in our society, is to grow as men and be able to forgive and be able to keep moving forward and be able to maintain the same type of dreams and like all have a wanting to do better and like continue to progress. And somehow we done made it, man. I mean, not made it, but somehow we have stuck together through everything.
We're in there.
And decided to do something great. And it was never really a moment where we weren't going to do it. It's like, damn, when are we gonna do this? When are we gonna stop dreaming?
Not if, but when.
Yeah,
okay.
like when.
Got it. Got it.
When were we gonna stop dreaming and say, yo, I've been telling you this. Yeah, bro, I've been telling you this. Yeah, bro, I've been telling you this. Okay, it's all the same thing we telling each other. Let's move on it.
And too many of them conversations right there.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's one of those things, like, if you think about it, like, that's where it derived from was, like, we had all been, like, dreamers and thinking of doing different things. And it was always a thing where we always came back to, no matter what we did individually, it was like, yo, like, why don't we start a business together? Like, we have all these similar dreams and aspirations. We in it together. Like, we've been together through thick and thin. Why not? And that's the whole thing, is moving on those dreams. That's what We Are Legend is about, is getting out of, champions material and getting off of stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the exact same thing in that it's like taking it from just a thought and an idea and a dream and like actually applying action to it. And that is what We Are Legend is about. It's like, pursue that. Whatever it is, whatever your legend is, pursue it.
Absolutely. I want to come back to something that Jeremy touched on a moment ago. And it was that you guys have been together, for a long time. And not only have you been together, you've been together through a lot for a long time, before We Are Legend ever came in the picture. How important was the brotherhood that you all have established previous to We Are Legend? How important is that to how you all have been able to navigate everything? We're talking the ups and the downs since We Are Legend was born. How important was that previous experience to how you all were able to navigate everything since We Are Legend has begun?
It was a foundation, man. like to say that we've been around each other 25 plus years, that shows you the loyalty in itself.
It does.
You know, it's not going to say those years are perfect years. We don't have,
I never are.
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't have our problems. No, we have our problems, but just like brothers, we work through them. And then flash forward, coming into this business, it just empowered us that much more to be able to do something for yourself. It's empowering, but then to be able to do that with people that you love,
right,
and that are around you all the time, it's just that much more empowering, man.
How many of us are actual I mean, I guess 3 of us are kind of actual family. But like, you know, technically, I mean, I guess like we're family, but like this brotherhood was born out of the blood, sweat, and tears. It was, you know, it was ordained. It's divine, but it wasn't. We like
football practice.
Right? Yes, we not.
Mhm.
You know,
Training camp.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean,
So
literally, y'all playing football.
yeah,
2 days, right?
yeah. So it's not technically at no point where was it where we had my brothers, my mother, and my father. I got to go back. At the end of the day, I have no choices in that.
Right.
But this was born out of something of I don't even know what to call it, right? But it was just something that stuck with us and made us stick together because not braggadocious or anything like that, but like people don't make it as friends for this long, or people don't know how to forgive,
right,
or how, because we done moved through a lot of stuff.
I was gonna say, don't get it twisted.
Like,
Like,
there's been some moments where
we call each other brothers for a reason. Like, we've
Yeah.
been through it all. We've been
Oh,
through the happy and the fun times,
yeah.
but like there's people, I ain't gonna say that in the group, that have like physically like got to fighting. But I mean,
Yeah.
we all still here together. We all understand our loyalty to each other. And I mean, just like you would your brother or sister or whoever you are, like argue with them, like it happens.
Mhm.
It happens. Like we all understand that we have similar goals and like similar mindsets, but we are different like individually. So, sometimes it comes to a head, but the fact that we've been around this long and we still this tight, like that speaks volumes.
You know what, man? Some of the best advice I've ever gotten came in my freshman year at Tennessee State. Shout out Tigers, TSU. I had one professor. This guy was, for about a 3-year stretch, he was a father figure to me. And he told me, he said, Lushan, he said, let me ask you something, man. You got a core group you fuck with? I said, I do. And he said, okay, if you're the smartest person in that group, you might need a new group.
Shout out to Big Rob for that one.
I said, where are we going here? He said, you want to evolve? I said, I do. He said, you want to grow? I said, I do. He said, do you want people that bring something different to the table? That way you can learn from them as much as they're learning from you. I said, I do. He said, okay, get a new group. I said, I will. Listening to what you just said is clear. All of you all bring something unique. So everybody is constantly getting something, getting energy and getting things. Okay, that's a different perspective, but that's just dope.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense as to why you all have gotten where you have gotten with We Are Legend, because every single one of you brings something to the table that elevates everything.
Absolutely. I'm glad you even said that, man, because that's something that still to this day, and don't get it twisted. Like I wanted to say this later, but I feel like it's just fitting that We Are Legend is not only a brand that's like designed to instill motivation and inspiration into others, but it inspires us. Like it's literally
Yes.
the same thing that it does for other people, it does for us as well. And I've always preached to everybody that's in here is like, yo, we all started for a reason. Like it's multiple of us with multiple different talents. Some maybe more than others, but everybody has an area where they shine.
Absolutely.
And it's like Voltron. That's what I used to tell them. Like,
Yeah. Okay.
like I can't even get it no more than that. I ain't gonna
Right.
say Power Rangers because I'm an 80s baby. So it's like Voltron. You know what I'm saying? Like we need somebody
right
that's
there
the
with you.
head, the body, the 2 arms, the 2 legs. But when we come together, like we operate at our finest times like that. So it's dope that all of us are able to provide and bring something to the table that's different. And it overall it just helps with like the movement of the brand or the movement itself and just pushing that message out there. So I'm glad you said it. Like it's like perfect, bro.
I'm the
Right on
sword.
point. Here you go.
I'm just
Here you go. Here you go.
I'm the sword. What?
He the leg that forgot to move when it was time to walk.
You have no bass in your voice
Bro, a sword is only an instrument, bro.
No, I know.
Oh man.
I know nobody was operating that. Nobody was doing that.
My goodness.
Oh man.
Got a leg,
Right?
No, gotta be the sword, man. Got to be the sword. Point A, point B. And this was the one, for me personally, I was looking forward to talking about the most, this topic.
Yeah.
Anybody and everybody can take this one, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Was there a moment after We Are Legend was born, after you all had a clear vision of what you wanted it to be, and it was just a matter of growing with it and seeing how it was going to be received, the message that you all were trying to deliver? Was there a moment where you said, okay, we're on to something. We got the foundation. It's just on us to continue to build. Was there a moment that just stood out? You've had plenty of moments, but what was the first moment that really stood out and you said, okay?
Edwin getting a tattoo on his floor.
Hey, look, you know what? I didn't even think about that one at all.
Shout out to Edwin.
Hey, shout out Edwin Coker.
Oh,
Over there in
shout
Tennessee.
out to Edwin
Chapel Hill
You
rapping.
got the logo. Jimmy wearing the logo? Yeah.
You got the icebreaker.
Icebreaker.
Yeah,
You got the tattoo on his forearm.
Yeah, so to shine a little light on it, we had a dude with us. He's a couple years younger than us. Went to high school with us. He balled as well. He's hooping and everything, but he's out in Tennessee.
yeah.
Like we don't even talk to him, huh? Nah, I thought it was Tennessee. I'm pretty sure it's like Tennessee or something.
No, he might be
east of here.
Midwest somewhere.
All right.
Look it up.
Sorry, I messed it up. But anyway, at the end of the day, bro went to high school with us. He was a couple years younger, you know what I'm saying? And we all like hoop to a capacity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we was in touch with the hoop community. And just out of nowhere, like we put the brand out, and this was like early on, man, like early on. I think within a couple months, or maybe within that first year, that we had put out the icebreaker.
Definitely in the first year.
We put out the icebreaker, right? And it was our
as t-shirts came out.
Yeah, like crazy. Like nobody else in here, well, except John now, has a We Are Legend tattoo. But there's a gentleman we went to high school with that out of nowhere, like he was following us on Facebook, following us on social media, like seeing what we was doing, and was like completely inspired by it to the point where,
Right.
like he told us, "Yeah, man, I love what y'all doing." And the next step, it was like picture of our icebreaker tattoo on his forearm. And it's funny you even mentioned that, Trav, because I had totally forgot about it. And we was looking like, damn, like it's love in the beginning. Like it's love. It's love. It's like we don't even have a We Are Legend tattoo. Like how much do you got to inspire somebody for them to permanently put like ink something on their body like that? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't even think about that moment. But now that I think about it like that in those terms, it's just like it's crazy to think that you could inspire somebody that's hundreds, if not thousands of miles away, whether they knew us or not. You know what I'm saying? Just knowing us allowed them to connect with the initial and introductory of it all, but it's the message as to what caught him. You know what I'm saying? He didn't do that because he know Jeremy and he know John and he hoop with Trey. Like he did that because he felt that message and he needed that for himself then. You know what I'm saying? So he's like heavy into working out and like getting back into shape, and it was big for us, man. Shout out Edwin, man. Like I ain't even got a tattoo yet, bro.
Yeah, absolutely, man. He knew what the program was, man. Did what came naturally. That's dope right there, man. Anybody else? I can. This is what I was looking forward to, man. Just you all, because you all believed in what you were doing, and obviously this doesn't happen if you didn't.
Right.
But when it's coming from outside back to you, you're like shit. They see it. now we can build. Like that's one dope ass example. Don't tell me that's not the only one, because I know for damn sure it ain't.
You know, so the craziest thing is what I remember the most, and I'm sure y'all all remember it, because this really became, at this point, we were all trying to make sure that we were doing things together. We were talking about, family or not family organizations, but a family organization. So like making sure that we had the children together. I mean, we've always all the children are, a year apart or 2 years apart or whatever. So we're trying to build on that and make sure that we were doing things. We're talking about family events or ladies' nights, or like sipping paint, like way back, but when sipping paint hit the market, and just building on that. And we sat down. I'm not the big football guy. I'm not. I love to play sports. I'm not really the guy that can watch sports.
Okay.
Shouts out to the Tar Heels. Y'all about the only people I can watch for long periods of time. But everything else, yes, we sat down to have our first entire group fantasy football team. And we went to Bailey. Shout out to Bailey, Fox and the Hound.
Yeah.
I do remember that now.
Sat down to have our first inaugural fantasy football jump. I think I came in second place.
Yeah, we rented out that whole back room.
Yeah. So we rented out the back room. We sat down. We happened to have we had the notebook, but we had the notebook to start the fantasy football and get it built up.
Right.
And we ended up sitting around this pool table. We converted the pool table into our little meeting table or whatever.
Yeah.
And sat down and just, chopped it up. And really, the 9 of us, shouts out to Mario Austin.
Fly 9.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Austin Lane Productions.
Yeah, Austin Lane Productions, to Marcus. So like the original group of all us, shouts out to Mark, who's not here right now with us, but yes, and absolutely more. But we sat down and it was like it started off as something we were going to do recreational to, spend time with each other, keep in touch, and the talks began.
Yep.
And it was like, yo, like we can really do this. I think at some point we were already sharing with either one another or with our other people, family members, whatever. It's like, yo, there's an opportunity out here for us to combine and do something great. And I think we all got to the point in life where it was like, it happened to be part of the social environment or atmosphere at the time, and people trying to wake up or whatever, and just saying, yo, group economics is important. Making sure we keep things within our community is important. And we were all just kind of looking at that from whatever standpoint we were. I don't think any of us is necessarily religious, but we were all trying to build on our spirituality and incorporate it in our lives as well. Yeah. So so we were coming into that, and that was the atmosphere at the time, and we're like, yo, we can do this. Like if group economics works like this, if our whole community can bring in this amount of money, yo, we as a group can do something. And we, there are aspects of whatever we're doing that can fit into this mold, and let's build on it. We've been talking about it forever. And so just sitting at this table, all 9 of us still real light about it, drinking beers, ordering pictures, eating wings. And it's like, yo, that shit sound kind of real. Like we can really do this. Let's move into this and let's see where it can go. And some of the original sketches, which are crazy, even the ones that have beat the cutting room floor and made it into actual imagery that we use.
Because there's a lot out there that we haven't even put out, like, there's a lot that's still in that preliminary phase where it was just a thought. But we created a book for that, just for that reason. Because sometimes it's like being able to go back and realize like why you started it, what you know what I'm saying, what you would think about then versus where you evolved to. Like some of those original ideas end up manifesting themselves down the road, even though that idea was probably 2-3 years old. It's a brand new design to everybody else, or it's something that we end up cultivating and turning it into.
So you all mapped everything out in a way that you could always trace everything back, so everything stayed connected from the very beginning.
It's one of those things where it's like, I think the idea came about before the name, and that's not even something that we really even talk about or that you got a question on, but the idea of motivating and inspiring and those type of things came about. And then, I mean, with each one of us, we all have a story. Like everybody does, but
yes,
we all have a story of, some type of adversity we faced or some type of circumstances you may have came up or been raised in. But at the end of the day, I think all of us had a common idea of, or a common goal of overcoming and achieving like greatness, man. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Like
to put a pin in you for 1 second, achieving greatness. Just stay right there. But like you said, the importance of actually writing things down. Like this is a key. You have a goal, you have something set in your mind. Write it down, and it becomes real. As soon as you put something down on paper or in a computer or wherever, however you document things, it becomes real. Like it is real. Words really do have power. You can like or imagery, whatever, like things that actually make it past into our realm, and you put down on paper or you make it real in this realm, in this lifetime, it becomes, because we literally go back and look at the book and be like, yo, like, do you remember this? Like this is what we talking about right now.
It makes sense.
This is
completely makes sense.
Yes, we wrote it down then and maybe even forgot about it, and then look back and be like, yo, this is exactly what we was talking about, but it's real now. It's not only is it real in this moment, as we create the next portion of it, or like 2.0 or 3.0 or whatever, but it was real in that moment, and now we've gone from here to there, and it's just, that's crazy.
Yeah, it allows you to stick to your narrative. It's like what Trevo was saying, to be able to go back and be like, okay, what are the reasons as to why you're doing this? And I think as long as you stay true to that, then you're doing yourself a solid. It allows you to progress, but also remember where it is that you came from.
Yes.
And where it is that you're aspiring to go. And so, yeah, man, it's important that you do that.
Absolutely.
Greater than the circumstances.
There it is.
We talked about this at the top. You don't achieve greatness without adversity. You just don't.
You can't.
And if you somehow do, you don't appreciate it, and you don't quite have the understanding that you should. You learn more from your failures than you do your successes.
Absolutely.
In my 30 plus years on this earth, I have come to understand that clearly. But I'm better for it now, regardless of what I was going through in the moment. Every time I come through it, and then I look back, I know I'm better for it. We Are Legend, from the very beginning, the message of being greater than your circumstances and being your best self as a message is unimpeachable. But once you got into the apparel business, and as you were learning along the way, the business of We Are Legend from an apparel standpoint, the message was understood from the very beginning, but the business of it is where you all grew. You all have had challenges, we all have. Those challenges are the reason why others out there who will be listening to Champions material and listen to the story of We Are Legend have not gotten started on their legend yet. They haven't become their legend yet because they're concerned for the challenges they may face. because of the fear of the unknown. When you don't
Absolutely.
know, it's very hard to take a forward step when you don't know where you're going, when you can't see where you're going. There are challenges, you know there are going to be challenges out there, circumstances to overcome. We Are Legend has dealt with that. Let's get real with this audience out here. You've had challenges. What are those challenges that you are comfortable diving into? What did it do for you? And what did it mean for you now that you look back?
I'll take it from the beginning, just go light with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll let y'all come in and fill it in. But I could think about just early on, like once we decided that it was a clothing brand and we had the name, right? We got our articles of organization, LLC, all that stuff, right? But then it was a matter of like, we had already done the research. Like, let's just keep it 100. Like it was a year of research and talking and planning and discussing before there was ever a product with We Are Legend name on it.
Yes.
But once we got to that point, it was like, okay. And I think this even goes back into your previous question, because I think this is also one of those moments where I realized like we're looking to contract different people or screen printing companies or printing companies to print the shirts for us. And we found one out in Raleigh Screen Print. Shout out to Jessica.
Yes.
Shout out to Jessica, man. Like I'm not gonna lie, like, you know what I'm saying? It was what it was. Raleigh Screen Print was like super far. It was almost like Raleigh Garnerish area. Every time we ordered something, we had to go out there and like pick it up from them. And not that, you know, that's some super crazy task, but when you try to do that on a Friday evening before they close, you got to go to work.
Everybody still had full time.
Everybody was working full-time jobs, so it was still kind of crazy even with that part, right?
And families and all the other stuff that like.
But yeah,
other
man,
priorities.
Like, yes, absolutely. But it was one of those things where, to go back on your previous question about one of those moments, like when we were setting up orders from Raleigh Screen Print, I think I did the first one, and it was literally 12 shirts. It was 2 shirts, like for each of us, a white and a black. You know what I mean? Just to say, hey,
with the mustard gold.
With the mustard gold on it.
Shout out to the mustard gold.
Yes, man. That was the original, the OG. Yes. But like at the end of the day, like it was one of those things where we had done like all of the other processes getting up to it, right? And it was just like, all right, well, what are we doing? Like, let's create a product. We already had the logo and everything down. Hey, shout out to Sleeve. Matter of fact, shout out to Sleeve, Shy Guy, Jonathan Collins, man. Look, y'all definitely go follow him. We'll get into that too. We got a whole Shy Guy collection, but that's my dude, man. And he's done like 85% of the designs that we've come up with. He's been the mastermind behind them. So
crazy.
But yeah, man, we ordered those 12 shirts, and I think the moment for me was like one of those moments after we ordered those 12 and we put it out there on social media. Didn't even have a website, I don't think, at the time. I'm pretty sure we didn't. And it was the amount of feedback. Like when I went to go put in the next order for other people, man, I kid you not, it was like over 100 shirts. You know what I'm saying? Like over 100.
Over 100.
Over 100. And this was, we only put out the 12 just for us, like so we could show it and be out there as kind of walking billboards for it. But I not even so much the design, man. I think, you know, people rock with us because they knew us, but people also rock with us probably more so because of the message. So that was definitely one of those times where it's like when I'm putting in this order and realizing, okay, I got 3.5 pages of different sizes, colors, and all this stuff of just that one design. I thought that was crazy right there. So that was one of those things. It's like, okay, we own the song. Like people resonate with this message.
Right.
And that was probably one of the biggest parts, right? But at the same time, when you got to go pay a third party, you know what I'm saying, to do 100 shirts for you. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's one of those obstacles too, where it's like, okay, after that second round, we start to understand and like, yo, like if this is really gonna work for us, like how do we cut out that middleman? Like how do we get to the point where we're producing that stuff ourselves? And not only that, that allows for faster turnaround times, you know what I mean? And things of that nature. So I think that's one of the things too, is like going from that process of having somebody else printing and doing all the materials for us and giving us the suggestions was, like I said, shout out to Jessica, because Jessica Raleigh Screen Print, like, they literally took our business and then they helped us grow into our own business at the same time. Like, she was giving us suggestions like, yo, maybe with this design, you should try this. Oh, we got these foils that would make it look real nice and shiny. You know, like, all of that stuff now, we still use to this day. Like, we have our own equipment, you know what I'm saying, that it took us some time to get, but we started doing the research into doing that and getting that stuff. And now we're at the point where we're doing our own production. And the only thing we outsourcing is, you know what I'm saying, the shirts, the designs, just getting all the materials in. But yeah, turnaround times of love. Shout out to Raleigh Screen Print once again, because I pretty much without Jessica, man, we wouldn't even be at the point at which we are.
Shout out to J. Michael.
And we ain't got to that, but yeah, shout out to J. Michael as well. JCMI, you know, Custom Imprints, man, they out there in Durham. Like, he's been a rock for us as well, man. Provided with us a lot of information.
He actually ran into us at Bembe, the first year that we did Bembe, which was crazy within itself.
Forgot about that.
Like, literally, we set up a booth. We got a little booth with one tent, and, like, you know, some mannequins we got from Dillard's when they shut down in Northgate Mall.
I don't know the struggle, man.
And you know, just broke out one day like, yo, the mall shutting down, or like the store shutting down. Let's go grab some equipment for them. We got that. We got a table. I won't even talk about a table. But we got blessed with a table. You know what I'm saying? We got blessed with a table, right? And so we go up and set this tent up, and he's behind us. And when I tell you, this dude got a whole trailer, with
like,
he doors that open up.
He printing shirts on the spot,
right?
Like, what you want? Which one design
out
you
at this carnival? Yeah, he's out here getting it in. He got everything set up, and he just looks down at us in front of him and calls me over. He's like, "Yo, bro, it's like, how y'all doing this? What's going on?" And, you know, I'm trying to be in the game, so I'm trying to tell him, "Yo, bro, this is what we doing."
Competitor.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't worry about what we got. This over here, we set up, bro.
Don't ask too many questions, chick.
But yeah, facts. But he falls in love like right then. He's like, "Man, y'all, I see y'all." But the setup was dope, man. I mean, we really put a lot of effort into making that special. Like, we, you know what I'm saying? I've heard this multiple times from multiple people. The setups that we were taking to the Afro Pop. Shout out to Afro Pop. Shout out to Moses and them at what is it called? It's been too long.
The Vault.
COVID got me messed up. Yes. Shout out to the Vault.
Shout out Moses, man.
You know what I'm saying? Broad Street, Durham.
April.
Yes.
Appreciate
April,
you. April
Pop,
Hood,
all of them. You know what I'm saying? What's the 8 jump?
DRC.
DRC. Shout out to all of them, man.
That's an apparel company though in Charlotte, man. Shout out to them too.
But like
Cato.
Yeah, Cato, yeah, all y'all. That set us up and allowed us to have vending opportunities. You know what I'm saying? The Black community is great for that. Like, going to places, finding places, creating these vending events. We done traveled multiple places because of it. But our setup, you know, just really falling in love with the fact that, yo, we run a business and we about to kill this shit. Like, and so, you know, custom, like from drawing custom tablecloths to set up on the on our tables, layouts. We got lights, we got cameras rolling. You know what I'm saying? It's really something that you looking at like, damn, like, yo, who are they and what are they doing? Not knowing that we like our first event into the game, but we just, you know, just got that so much passion about it. Kyle Morgan, shout out to Kyle Morgan. Shout out to what was the comedy joint called?
Silly Saturdays.
Silly Saturdays, bro.
Man.
Oh my God, when it ran it. Met Schuler King out there. This was 3-4 years ago. Yeah. His platform is crazy.
Before
now.
he was on Wild and Out and all that stuff.
Before
man.
what did he said? What he say? Somebody tell me what in the yes, before all of that, you know what I'm saying, meeting these dudes young and coming in and just like people understanding the passion for what we were trying to do.
Yes.
And really giving us the platform to build. And
Absolutely.
And it's crazy. Yeah, like it's surreal.
I mean, really, if I think about it, man, like all of those is like individual moments that was just like, it was like stepping stones.
Right.
Yeah. Like every time, okay, we achieved this. Well, we were doing events locally. Obviously, it was, Chapel Hill. Shout out J. Ill, my cousin, Money Mob Entertainment. He was the first one to give us an opportunity to vend at an event. You know what I'm saying? So that was a learning experience within itself, just going in there and saying, okay, how do we present ourselves to these people? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? How do we draw them to the table?
Experience. Absolutely.
Absolutely. And it's just growing from there. Like we went from being in just Chapel Hill to Durham to now we're in Greensboro. We done been to events in Charlotte, different things like that where, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just different platforms and we appreciate everybody.
You know what? We need to take a second to tap into that because starting out vending locally, but then being able to expand to other areas to really bring We Are Legend to different people and the message behind We Are Legend. I know right now that there are individuals who are listening that are saying, how the fuck did they do that? How did they even get started? Yeah, they may have known somebody, as you all have alluded to.
Right.
But that individual didn't get you to Greensboro and Durham and all these other places. That was every last one of you figuring out how to reach out. That is an example of maybe some of the things that others who may be interested in going down this direction, they're apprehensive about. Like, okay, well, you ended up going to other areas and expanding the brand, but how did you go about the process of doing that? You didn't just show up at these other events.
Yeah.
You had to reach out to people and explain what you were about, what We Are Legend was about. Then those other opportunities happen. Right.
Learning the business, learning the lingo, opening your mouth because a closed mouth don't get fed. Walking up to somebody with all your pride left at the door and saying, "Yo, we trying to do something else." What can you offer? Or like saying, just meeting with genuine people and like just saying, "Hey, man, help." Like we trying to do something great, but as I felt like people saw the effort that we put into what we started from at the beginning, and were like, "These boys not playing,"
and they resonated with the message.
They're coming to eat.
Yeah.
Once you hear that message, man, like I say, there's very few, if any, people in the world that can tell me that doesn't sit with you, like that doesn't hit home for you in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? Even if you've overcome that obstacle that you're in, or maybe you're in that legendary status and position that you want already, but it took something to get there. You know what I'm saying? So it was like one of those things where it's like, no matter really who you were talking to, the message kind of resonated with them. And then it's just us, man. I think like we've always been just the type of individuals that have been cool enough to just, you know what I'm saying? We get along with a lot of different people, see it from a lot of different ways, and just the genuineness alone, I think is what helps with, allowing people to understand, all right, we're serious about it. We're putting forth the effort. And like, this is something that's real.
So in other words, for the people who want to go out here and get it and do it, it's all about being genuine. It's all about putting your foot in it, making sure that it's something that you want to run with, and just like being fearless. Like you really, I'm so grateful to have had brothers and everybody with us. My parents, especially, other people. It's plenty of supporters. It's too many people to actually sit here and name. That like really felt like, dang, bro, I'm just so happy to see you do it. But like having those people, having that positive energy behind you. If you got that negative energy from anybody, bro, I'm sorry. Like you just gotta leave them be. You ain't gotta stop loving nobody, but you just can't run with it. You gotta stick to those people that are gonna offer you positive things, whether you know them or not. It's a million people in this world that you will never you wouldn't expect yourself to be around. But if you don't give them a chance, if you don't take the moment to know somebody new, or like, see what people above you can offer you, you're not gonna get there. So you gotta love what you're doing. You gotta have a passion for it. If it's things that you don't love that you out here doing, do what you gotta do to eat, because your family ain't gonna survive without this money and everything else. Don't never give up on that. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do, but always leave those moments for your passion. If you not, if you go a whole day without doing something that you passionate about, you cheated yourself out of the day.
I'm going to say, like, it's fun in terms of work, man. Like,
You cheated yourself.
when it's something that you passionate about and something that you like or you love, you don't feel like work, man.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of it. Like, once you get to that part where you can sustain for whatever your lifestyle is, that's family, children, those type of things,
Right.
or if it's just you on your own, like, when you can get to a point where you're following your passion and you're getting paid for that, man, it don't even feel like work. It don't.
But you should also find your passion in everything in your day. It shouldn't be a part of your day where you say, where you're not passionate about your kids, or passionate about your relationships, or passionate about, like, even the job you have, even if you don't like the job. You know what I'm saying? I done worked plenty of places that weren't necessarily in the mold of what I want to do. But if you can't find something within that moment or in those times where you can move forward with it, you lost. And so you gotta make passion. It's more discipline. Like boxing.
Absolutely.
Boxing hard as shit. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you don't want to go home with bloody knuckles and swollen knuckles every day, but, like, you know what I'm saying? That, like, yes, that part sucks of it, but there's still the passion within it. You have to find what drives you, whether it be like, damn, I just crushed this bag. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's what I was loving about it. You have to find the positive in whatever you're doing in life. If you can't do that, like, you're not even really, like, existing or living.
Absolutely. There's a difference between living with the passion and existing without one.
Mm.
On behalf of Champions Material, my thanks to you, the audience, for tuning in to this episode. We Are Legend, Part 1, Becoming Legendary, Building a Black-Owned Business. Stay tuned. We'll be back sooner than later with Part 2, Greater Than the Circumstances, Evolving a Black-Owned Business. Till then, everybody out there, be safe and hold it down. For now, we're done.